What's up, Archons? I'm Flightless Pheasant, and today we got an update from Ghost Galaxy about the Roseville Vault Tour results. I skimmed this briefly, but haven't read it in detail. I was working outside today, being an A+ husband, doing yard work. It was gross and sticky, and I'm still a little hot. But I wanted to get this video out to you guys because I know you like it that I get these out as quick as I can. So here we go. Vault Tour Roseville results. Vault Tour 2025 continues on in Roseville at our favorite local game store and the home of KeyForge Game Center. The vaunted halls of this historic store invited 24 brave players to forge their legends and complete for the ultimate KeyForge title, Vault Warrior. 24 is a real small turnout. I imagine because a lot of people are thinking, hey, if I'm going to go to Roseville, I'm going to do it for KFC. I'm probably not going to do it for a Vault Tour. Plus, travel is tricky this year, and people are not traveling as much. I also imagine they didn't get as many Canada people as they normally get for Roseville. I know they didn't get as many as they normally do for Rochester. Yeah. It does make me kind of question the decision to have Rochester and Baltimore both close together on the East Coast. I know that they like both the stores they work with over there. And I'd prefer they kept Rochester because it's a little closer to me than Baltimore. But I don't know. Maybe having two stores that close together when you're only able to run 5 Vault Tours, maybe it's not ideal. Maybe you should spread it out a little more. Put one down in like Florida or Georgia or something. Anyway. 3 tournaments were completed across the weekend in each of KeyForge's competitive formats, Sealed, Archon, and Alliance. Champions who did not already hold the Vault Warrior title attained it and were awarded an invite to the KeyForge 2025 World Championship in November, in addition to all their other prizes. Absolutely. Forged in fire, hardened in amber. Over the weekend, champions emerged from the fires of intense competition in 3 major tournaments, with numerous players showcasing their skills and securing top positions across various formats. A remarkable amount of amber was harvested, and many keys forged, yet only a select few were able to etch their names into the annals of history. We also introduced another 8 decks to the Hall of the Ascended, with special accolades to show off their legendary accomplishments. Ascension removes these decks from organized play until the KeyForge World Championships, additional rules in the TRG. May these slumbering giants enjoy their rest before the big event in November. And now, as is tradition, we honor our glorious competitors. Let's do it! Oh yeah, I heard Dr. Sheep ended up winning Sealed. Fantastic. And Morgan's the runner-up. Very nice. Players continued to make Sealed a popular format since its introduction as a major competitive format in the 2024 season. 21 players participated, closely mirroring the number in Archon. Players competed using 1 to 3 decks of Amber Skies. Okay, so they're still on Amber Skies. I'm pretty sure we're going to have prophetic visions for Portland, but it depends. I was really expecting more shipping updates by this point, and we haven't gotten any, so I'm starting to get a little nervous, because if they're not actively shipping already, I don't know if we're going to have it in our hands before Portland, which is a little nerve-wracking. Decks were constructed using the Alliance deck mechanics. Sealed allows players to swap house pods from their 3 decks between rounds. Because of this, we do not have a detailed breakdown of the houses used, pod selection, or top cards of this tournament, because it's sealed. But congratulations to everybody. We only had 1 Team Visible Hand member at Roseville, and I don't think he placed in Sealed. But I do think he placed in Alliance, I want to say. So, anyway. Congratulations to Dr. Sheep. Congratulations, Morgan. Look at all these familiar faces. Everybody working hard. It's all good stuff. Let's take a look at Archon. Y'all know I've got thoughts on Archon. So here we are. Sealed was beaten by a narrow margin as the largest tournament on the weekend by Archon. Archon saw 24 participants on Saturday, half the field composed of Grim Reminders, with the next highest percentage among sets being Amber Skies. Despite this dominance in selection, the top cut was composed mostly of decks from other sets, with Tokens of Change and Winds of Exchange having decent showings. Archon's set field was thus half Grim Reminders, a quarter Amber Skies, 2 Tokens of Change, both of which made it into the top cut, and then 4 decks from other miscellaneous sets, Vaultmaster 24, Vaultmaster 25, Winds of Exchange, and Call of the Archons. Note the Winds of Exchange deck also made it into the top cut. So I think what happened here, if I may be allowed to put forward my opinion, is yes, only 3 of those 12 Grim Reminders decks made it into the top 8. But I think A big part of the reason for that is because the decks that made it into the top 8 that were not Grim Reminders are kind of the very best decks of that set and were chosen for that reason. So basically what I'm saying is, if this field had been 50 people and there had been 25 Grim Reminders decks instead of 12, I don't know if the top 8 would look the same. In fact, I'm relatively certain we'd see more Grim Reminders decks in the top 8 than we do currently. But it is a good thing that GR didn't take 5 out of the top 8 again, or even 4. It's 3. Now, they did still win the top spot again, second time in a row. At least I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, put it down in the comments. Call me out on it. I've been wrong before, and I've got a bit of a hate boner for. I've got a bit of hate for Grim Reminders, and I get kind of mean on them. But yeah, you see 3 Grim Reminders decks there. You see both of the only 2 Tokens of Change decks that were entered. You see the Winds of Exchange deck, the only one that was entered. And you see a couple of Amber Skies rounding out the top 8. I don't think this indicates that Grim Reminders isn't too good. I really don't. I think this indicates that this was a tiny field filled with the very best that sets other than Grim Reminders had to offer. And if you don't have enough Grim Reminders in the field to really stomp that down, especially since you'd get a top cut, there's 28 participants? So you'd get a top cut in 3 rounds? I don't think that's enough time to really synthesize whether or not a set is too good. It's enough time to synthesize specific winning decks. And congratulations, by the way, to Zen and Zen Zik and X-Ray Creator. Well done, guys. Real proud, for sure. I don't want to rain on your parade, but Geistoid continues to possess the top spot among house selection in Archon, representing 17 decks in a 24-deck field, meaning there were 7 decks in the whole field that weren't running it. Mars follows closely, and Untamed behind Mars in 3rd place. And again, if you look at the full house breakdown of how many other houses there were, it makes up almost a quarter of the total houses, and it's in all but 7 of the decks. And again, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces when we go to these cards that appear most frequently. In here somewhere, Junk Restoration, Haunted House, Doctor's Loxifrex, Ironix Rebel. These are names we've seen before, and we're going to keep seeing again and again and again, because there's just nothing that is better than a Geistoid Uber turn into a key cheat. I'm a little surprised the key cheats themselves don't appear on here, but that's probably because decks with multiples are very, very rare. So having more than one of the key cheat doesn't happen very often, which means it doesn't show up on this list. Because if you think about it, right, yeah, that's just not super likely. But I'm not too surprised, but I think the small sample size is a factor here. But I'm glad to see a top 8 not dominated by Grim Reminders. They're only 3 out of 8. Look at that. They're only 3 out of 8. Still the most common in the top 8 of any set. Still the most. Then again, they were half of the field. So I'm trying to be as fair about this as I can. Because, yeah, this is a Vault Tour top 8 that was not dominated by Grim Reminders. That's fair. They did win the top spot, and they were the set that had the most representation. But that is not what I said would happen. And I think it's partly because there's such a small number of participants, but I was wrong. It's not going to be 5 out of the top 8 all year. I don't think that means it doesn't need to be addressed. All right, we're going to move on. Checking out Alliance. Due to attendance, Ghost Galaxy did the math to discover it was possible to allow more people to play Alliance by delaying the start of the tournament until after the 3rd round of Archon. So 11 participants gathered their alliances, which is just enough to complete a top 8 according to the latest tournament rules and guidelines. Yeah, because last time at Rochester, they only had 10 participants, which was real rough. So they got to 11, which is better. Amber Skies was the most represented among the forged alliances in the tournament, but a large variety of sets was utilized. Age of Ascension was the only other set to have more than one represented deck among the field. And the field was as follows. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Alliance is in a much healthier place. It's still a degenerate format made for mid-maxing metagamers. And I love y'all, but let's call it like it is. Because, it's still a format where you're trying to either lock your opponent out of winning on turn 3 or you're trying to win on turn 3. And so I still have no interest in playing it, but I think it's in a much healthier spot right now than it has been at some other times, and in particular, I think it's in a healthier spot for what it is and for what it's trying to do than Archon is right now. So that's definitely something. Kudos on Alliance, guys. You guys are eating good right now, and I can respect it. I can respect the quality of play that you're getting to experience right now. Congratulations to Dave C. and Wookie. Well done, guys. You're going to get to play Alliance at KeyForge Celebrations. Hopefully that's going to be a lot of fun. The people who play Alliance seem to love the heck out of it. I just don't think I would enjoy it. I like long, close games that go back and forth repeatedly. I like spending multiple turns fighting for that very last key as your opponent just tries to use every single trick they've got to keep you from winning. It's one of the reasons I don't like key cheats, because I think it robs you of that back and forth that you get at the end of the game, because the best time to cheat a key is for your last one, and so that whole back and forth at the end just disappears because you have a key cheat instead. But I do really like the back and forth, and so I don't think I would enjoy Alliance very much, because Alliance is all about denying that back and forth and trying to either win immediately or lock your opponent out from winning until you're ready to win immediately, which I just don't see as particularly fun to me, but some people very much enjoy it. House selection varied quite a lot. I'm sure it did, because there were very few sets in common. Logos was the most common, followed by Dis and Untamed. Geistoid, which is often dominant in Archon, represent only 4 of the decks. Alliance saw this 10 house breakdown. Yeah. No, I agree. Geistoid has dropped off precipitously in Alliance because you can't run Winds of Death Key Abduction, because they are now mutually exclusive. Turns out, if you can't run those 2 cards together, Grim Reminders is a lot less dominant. Shock. Who would have guessed? That, and they got rid of the Missile Officer Myers multi-dimensional rescue infinite combo, which, that was great, and that helped Archon a little bit, but it helped Alliance more, because you could more easily build an Alliance deck that could actually utilize that combo in a meaningful way than you could just hope to get an Archon deck that can utilize it in a meaningful way. Top 10 cards played. Dust Imp, there's in here somewhere again. Yeah, even though Geistoid was only in 4 decks, in here somewhere is still one of the most played cards. Guys, it just does too much. It just does too many good things. It's a problem. It is creating too much value. It just is. Clipped Wings, Eat Yeti 4x4, Igor, Neutron Shark, Nepenthe Seed, Colonel Slime, Nature's Call, Sloppy Lab Work. Cool. All good stuff. I was pretty sure... Let me see if I can find him. I'm not seeing him, but we definitely did have a Team Visible Hand member. I'm pretty sure he said that he placed in Alliance, managed to top 8 in Alliance. So good on you. Second Amber. Players who got knocked out of the main tournaments on Friday and Saturday could participate in Second Amber tournaments, where they could earn chances to win a variety of prizes, including sealed KeyForge decks, deck boxes, and even a spot in Surprise Prophetic Visions pre-release mini-tournament. Woo! Because of the way the main tournament were staggered on Saturday, Second Amber was less attended than Vault Tour stops, which have simultaneously run the tournaments. Shock. Still, over 30% of the eliminated players joined Second Amber to forge more keys. Nice. A total of 17 players competed in 13 games across the weekend. The person with the most wins across all of the offered time slots was Unfathomable. Congratulations, Unfathomable. We're proud. We're real proud. As king of the losers, I hereby grant you the title of Duke or Knight or something less than king. Side events. KeyForge Prophetic Visions showed up in a side tournament for the second time this season. Spots were limited and earned through various means: an entry raffle for all attendees, a raffle for Second Amber players, and sealed groups. After duking out among 8 total players, SC Steele emerged as the best KeyForge Prophetic Vision player of the Roseville Vault Tour. Nice! Also returning was the Masters of the Vault side tournament on Sunday, which allows players to take any release of the Master Vault Master special sets, play a 3-round mini tournament. 10 players participated. Undefeated were Dr. Sheep and Drazcor. Shocker. Now, congratulations, guys. Well done. Tokens of appreciation. As a special show of appreciation for our faithful community, we included in the raffle prizing were the one each of 14 special metal house tokens from the Prophetic Visions Game Found campaign. These incredible tokens will be in the hands of backers soon, and we hope to have them available at future stops. Fantastic. Soon is when, but fantastic. Very happy. Would like now, but I get it. Also, these images are... Oh, I get what's happening there. These are actually two separate images that they just put side by side. This one shows front and back, and that one shows 4 different houses. Got it. A legendary store, Game Center, was the gracious host for this tournament. For over a decade, this game store has made history as the host of many regional, national, and even world championship events for a large number of games. It was the birthplace of many games, including KeyForge. Ghost Galaxy is honored to continue to be able to hold events in a store with the significance of Game Center. It is truly the beating heart of gaming in the Midwest. Thanks so much to Game Center. Nice. It's a good store. It's a really good store. Game Center helped us stake out a spot in the store so that we could provide coverage of all our KeyForge happenings over the weekend directly to the Ghost Galaxy YouTube. Fun to watch. The streams are good. Our very own marketing coordinator, Jeremy, provided coverage both solo and with several members of the KeyForge community throughout the weekend. We're thankful to the community members that helped Jeremy make the coverage of the event extra special. Check out the Archon finals coverage in this article's end. If you're hungry for more, please go to our YouTube page to see the rest. Subscribe to see future. So go there, check it out. It's really cool. And there are more Vault Tour stops. Next one is Portland. Grab your tickets. Several of the international Vault Tour locations have also been finalized. There's only one way to find out who will be the next Vault Warrior. Don't delay. Get your tickets today. See you in the Crucible. Good stuff all around. Roseville seems like it was a good time, even though attendance was kind of low. Good job, everybody who managed to get their qualifications. I'm excited. I'm going to Portland. Are you going to Portland? You should go. It'll be fun. I'm bringing my mom. I'm bringing my nephew too. So I'm actually bringing a little bit of a crowd. At one point, I was going to be bringing my sister and her daughter as well as her son, who's my nephew, but they had to back out, and so now it's just me and my mom and my nephew. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Portland's going to be a good time. And then I am not doing Vegas, and I'm not doing Baltimore, so the next chance to see me, if that's something you care about, will be at KFC in November. I expect we're going to get the announcement of the summer event anytime now. I expect we're going to get the announcement of shipping updates for Prophetic Visions anytime now. I'm a little surprised we haven't gotten them already, but I get that they were busy with the Vault Tour and the Vault Tour wrap-up, so that's probably why they haven't told us anything. But I do still think we're going to get that announcement very, 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 very soon. Keep an eye on my channel. I've got some original content coming as well. But that's all I have for you today. So until next time, later, Archons.